Hello and welcome to today's daily news analysis. My name is Rajat and we will be discussing the important articles from today's newspaper, and the articles for discussion today are: number 1, National Board for Wildlife; number 2, there were some important species discussed in the decisions taken by the National Board for Wildlife; number 3, we will be discussing about the Navratna status granted to certain public sector undertakings; number 4, we will be discussing about the Wallace line; number 5, we will be discussing about the carbon intensity. Then in the editorial section, we will be discussing the law, order and artificial intelligence. So let's start the discussion. Starting with the first article of the day, which is National Board for Wildlife. This is a statutory body. The backdrop of the news is that PM Modi has announced major initiatives in the meeting of National Board of Wildlife. And this meeting becomes historic and important because it is the first time under Prime Minister Modi that this meeting is being held. Last, it was held under the Prime Ministership of Mr. Manmohan Singh. So that is why this becomes an important news item. So this news item is relevant from environment and ecology, and the important theme in this subject which is relevant for us is environmental legislation. Fine. Environmental legislations becomes and is a important part of your syllabus. So let's start with the news. Here we can see that the Prime Minister directed formation of task forces for conservation of Indian sloth bear, ghadial and Great Indian bustard. This was one of the decisions which was taken in the meeting. Then he also announced that a national Great Indian bustard conservation plan as well as scheme for conservation of tigers outside tiger reserves. These are the decisions which have been taken in the meeting of National Board for Wildlife. And there was also another decision taken regarding Project Cheetah. The Project Cheetah will be expanded to Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary and Bunny grasslands. So what is our task now? So one should know about the location of Gandhi Sagar and brief introduction of Bunny grasslands. What is the characteristics of the grasslands? What is this protected area that is Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary? So where is it located? How is the ecology impacted by introduction of cheetah? So these are the basic questions which one should keep in mind. So Gandhi Sagar Sanctuary, it is located in Madhya Pradesh, divided into two parts by the Chambal River. So the things which I am highlighting are more important. The Chambal River, Madhya Pradesh, and it is designated as an important bird and biodiversity area. It is an important tag. It was India's second cheetah reintroduction site after Kuno National Park. Cheetahs once inhabited this region before going extinct in 1952. And now what are the other animals found here? These are chinkara, nilgai, spotted deer, Indian leopard, striped hyena and jackal. Then there is a news about what is Bunny grassland. It is located near the Great Run of Kutch area in Gujarat. It is considered to be the largest grassland of Asia. The site is particularly famous for the bunny buffalo. It is a buffalo known for its night grazing habits. The most of the livestock keeper in Bunny belong to the Maldhari community. So this is also an important community, Maldharis. The Maldhari community is known for the symbiotic relationship with the Asiatic lion. What are the other fauna found here? These are nilgai, black buck. Black buck is important species. Wild boar, golden jackal, desert fox and Indian wild ass. This species is also important. So if you want to, you can go and prepare more about these two species which have been referred here. Then there was also discussion about the Project Lion's status. The government aims to increase the range of Asiatic lions throughout the Saurashtra region. Now Saurashtra region is in Gujarat. Now Saurashtra region, also known as Kathiawad, it is a Kathiawad peninsula of the region of Gujarat. The basin was formed when India was separated from Madagascar. So Madagascar is again a very important place from the point of view of environment and ecology. So this was covered largely by volcanic rocks known as Deccan Traps. The region is cited in the Junagadh rock inscription of Rudradaman I. This rock inscription is important from ancient history. And there are other kings as well whose inscription is present at the Junagadh inscription. So please do comment in the comment box which all other kings inscription is present at the Junagadh rock inscription. So now we come to the basic news, that is brief introduction about what is National Board for Wildlife. It is a statutory body. Number one, it is formed under the Wildlife Protection Act. This act is important. It is not under Environment Protection Act or any other act. It is under Wildlife Protection Act. Then what are the responsibilities which the board handles? The guiding the government decisions on matters related to wildlife conservation and issuing approval for projects in protected areas. What is the mandate? The mandate that without the approval and recommendation of National Board for Wildlife, construction of tourist lodges, altercation of boundaries of the protected areas. What all are protected areas? Here we can say national parks, wildlife sanctuaries, etc. It cannot be done. And destruction or diversion of wildlife habitat and denotification of tiger reserves cannot be done without the mandate of National Board for Wildlife. So this point is more important from the examination point of view. This body replaces IBWL and it succeeds Indian Board for Wildlife, which was established in 1952. Now the composition of the board. The board consists of 47 members and it is headed by Prime Minister, and the Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change is the Vice Chairperson. And the board also constitutes Chief of Army Staff, Defence Secretary and Expenditure Secretary as members. So there is also a standing committee of National Board for Wildlife, which is part of the National Board for Wildlife. This standing committee is an independent body. It consists of up to 10 members and it is chaired by Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And the sole focus of standing committee is project clearances, while NBWL handles policy decisions. So it is kind of day-to-day functioning of which project should be cleared. If a dam has to be constructed inside a protected area, there the standing committee of National Board of Wildlife will take the decision. So here we have mentioned a practice question. Do answer this and let us know the answer in the comment box below. Moving on to the next article and the news item. Here the previous article itself, that is the decision made by National Board for Wildlife, discusses few important species, and these species have earlier also been asked in the examination. So knowing the distribution, knowing its location becomes important. On which are the protected areas where these species are found? So the PM directed formation of task forces for the conservation of Indian sloth bear, ghadial and great Indian bustard. So these three species have specifically been mentioned in the decisions of Prime Minister. So that is why one should know about these species. And how is it relevant? The relevance is from location of protected areas where these species are found. So here we have an intersection of two important themes, that is species and the protected areas. Protected areas have independently been asked and species have also been asked independently, but here we see an intersection as well. For example, Hangul, also known as Kashmiri stag, it is found in which protected area? And that protected area is Dachigam National Park. Similarly, a question was asked, where does one find musk deer? Musk deer is found in, it's a flagship protected area where musk deer is found. It is Askot Wildlife Sanctuary, and this is in Uttarakhand. So one should prepare the species like this, having an interlinkage in mind. So let's start with the article. About Indian sloth bear, it is not critically endangered, it is vulnerable. One should keep this in mind. It is under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act, Appendix 1 of CITES. It is one of the 8 bear species found across the world. India has 4 bear species: Asiatic black bear, sloth bear, sun and Himalayan brown bear. This is endemic to Indian subcontinent. It occurs in India, Nepal, Bhutan and Sri Lanka. 90% of the species population is found in India. The sloth bear is unique Now pay attention to this point. The sloth bear is unique for its adaptation to myrmecophagy. That is, it feeds primarily on ants and termites. For example, one would have seen in cartoons like Mowgli, where the bear is known for its eating habits of honey. But here we find that sloth bear is slightly unique from the other bear species because it focuses its diet mostly on ants and termites. This bear species is killed for their gallbladder. So this can also be a question: which of the following species found in India is part of Schedule 1 and it is hunted for its gallbladder? So in that case, the species would be the sloth bear. Then this species of bear, that is Indian sloth bear, is mostly nocturnal. And sloth bear sanctuaries in India are Daroji Sloth Bear Sanctuary, which is in Karnataka, Jessore Sloth Bear Sanctuary, which is in Gujarat. So try to digest this information, use maps and locations, and be creative in remembering the facts related to Indian sloth bear. Now the next important species is Ghadial. Ghadial is a species of crocodile. So this is critically endangered. So that is why this becomes important, and this is the reason why it was also asked. Earlier there was a question asked on Ghadial, that is, what is the natural habitat of Ghadial? Please do try to answer this question in the comment box, and check your preparation regarding the prelims with the environment and ecology. Under the Wildlife Protection Act, it is in Schedule 1. In CITES, it is in Appendix 1. CITES relates to the trade in protected species. Then the physical description, they are categorized by long narrow snout with sharp interlocking teeth, ideal for catching fish. The cultural significance is they are depicted as the divine mount of goddess Ganga. Role in the ecosystem, they maintain the health of a river ecosystem by cleaning up the decaying flesh of any animals. So that is why they are known as scavengers of river. Ghadial reserves in India are located in 3 states, namely Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. I'll ask you guys another question. Tell the protected area where number 1 Ghadial, number 2 saltwater crocodile, number 3 mugger. All 3 are found in one place. Try to answer this question in the comment box below. Now here we have key refuges of Ghadial. Where are Ghadials found primarily in India? So you will see National Chambal Sanctuary. Chambal is the natural habitat, the thing we discussed in the previous slide, the question I was asking you guys. Then Son River Sanctuary, Chitwan National Park in Nepal. So Ghadial is not only limited to India, it is also found in Nepal. A question along these lines can be expected. Then Katernia Ghat Sanctuary in Uttar Pradesh, then Satkosia Gorge Sanctuary in Odisha. The Project Crocodile, Odisha's Bhitarkanika National Park with assistance of UNDP and UNFAO. So here they are talking about the launch of Project Crocodile. Now we come to the Great Indian Bustard. This is again a critically endangered species. This is a very important species, and we have seen question asked from Great Indian Bustard. It is part of Schedule 1, Appendix 1 of CITE. The project Great Indian Bustard is conservation project launched by government of Rajasthan first in the year 2013. About the bird, it is large ground dwelling bird, often described as one of the heaviest flying bird in the world. This is very important. So it is a ground dwelling bird, but it can fly. You might find a statement that Great Indian Bustard is the largest non-flying bird, or maybe not largest non-flying bird in the Indian subcontinent, but be sure that it can fly. It is the heaviest and the largest flying bird in the Indian subcontinent. Then it is a grassland species and it is considered as an indicator species. What is an indicator species? A species which indicates the health of the ecosystem wherever it is dwelling, of the grassland and or the pulse of the grassland ecosystem. It is the state bird of Rajasthan and it is locally known as Godawan. About Great Indian Bustard, these are opportunistic feeder, meaning that they are not limited to a particular type of diet. They'll consume grass, they'll consume seeds, they'll consume insects, and even small rodents and reptiles as well, based upon the availability of the food. The main reason cited for the decline and the habitat decline is anthropogenic reasons and building up of transmission lines in the region where they are located. Then the habitat, what is the distribution of the habitat of Great Indian Bustard? So you will find that once it was throughout the Deccan Plateau and the Indian subcontinent, but now it is found mostly in the Thar Desert and on the Deccan Plateau. Today, the population is mostly confined to Rajasthan and Gujarat, whereas small populations occur in Maharashtra, Karnataka, and Andhra Pradesh. For this, I would like to refer to you guys. Please go and read about Rolapaddu, Neelapaddu. Please do research about these two things and answer it in the comment box that where are these two protected areas located. And in these areas, we also find Great Indian Bustard, and these are not in Rajasthan and Gujarat. So mind it, these are not in Rajasthan and Gujarat. So please go and try to find out that where these protected areas are located. This will increase your content and value addition. So in this map here, we can see that where are the population of Great Indian Bustard distributed. You can find Rajasthan and Gujarat mentioned. Then we find here Nasik, Ahmedabad and Sholapur. Andhra Pradesh and Karnataka is also mentioned. And there is some shading done in Tamil Nadu as well. So do read and look whether the Great Indian Bustard can be found in Tamil Nadu as well or not. Answer this in the comment box. Can Great Indian Bustard be found in Tamil Nadu? Please do answer this. Here we have now a practice question. Try to answer this. This is a previous year question and let us know the answer in the comment box below. Now moving on to the next article, that is Navratna Status to IRCTC and IRFC. What does Navratna Status for IRCTC and IRFC mean? So this is a news from Indian economy and specifically from public sector undertakings. So this is a status which is given to better performing public sector undertakings, and from this they get more operational freedom, and there are certain metrics along which the performance of the public sector undertaking is measured. And according to the performance, more relaxation, more independence and autonomy in working is given. So that is why this article becomes important, because recently all the central public sector undertakings under Indian Railways have been granted the Navratna status. So that is why this is important. So let's go into the article. So recently, the upgradation of Indian Railway Catering and Tourism Corporation and Indian Railway Finance Corporation as country's 25th and 26th Navratna companies has been carried out. So all 7 listed central public sector enterprises of Indian Railways have now the Navratna status. The 2 big Indian Railways companies now can make financial decisions with greater autonomy, as we discussed, operate internationally without many bureaucratic hurdles. Indian Railways has total 12 central public sector undertakings under it. So what is Navratna status? It is conferred upon a public sector undertaking that demonstrates outstanding financial and market performance. Number 1, the recognition enhances their autonomy and financial authority. Number 2, the center classifies CPSEs into 3 categories based on their financial performance and operational capabilities. These are Maharatna, Navratna and Mini Ratnas. How is the Navratna status given? The Navratnas are second category of central government owned Ratna companies placed between Maharatnas and Mini Ratnas. This is based on criteria including profitability, net worth, earnings, intersectoral performance, etc. The Department of Public Sector Undertaking of Ministry of Finances picks up the CPSEs for Navratna status. So which is the department responsible for this? The Department of Public Enterprises. So here we have mentioned the 6 indicators which are taken into consideration for giving Navratna status. These are ratio of the net profit to net worth, ratio of PBDIT to capital employed ratio, earnings per share, intersectoral performance of the company, ratio of PBIT to turnover, the ratio of manpower cost to total cost of production of services. So all these will now indicate the financial health of the company. Now, how is this status given? The 6 indicators, they carry weight from 10 to 25, and every parameter has certain weight associated to it, and then a composite index is formed. If a CPSE has a composite score of 60 or higher for all 6 indicators and has obtained excellent or very good MOU rating in the 3 of the last 5 years, it is eligible to be considered for Navratna status. What are the benefits? The company can invest up to rupees 1000 crore or 15% of their net worth in a single project without requiring prior government approval. Flexibility to expand operations and explore new business opportunities more efficiently. Greater independence of forming joint ventures and entering into technology or marketing agreements. Objective of this status is to enhance the competitiveness and self-sufficiency of public sector enterprises. Then now here we have given a practice question. Answer this and let us know the answer in the comment box below. Moving on to the next article, that is the Wallace line. So this article is important because here there is a term which is used in ecology, which is being used here, just like ecological niche and other terms which have been asked in the examination. Wallace line is a term which has already been asked in the examination, but not in civil services, but in other examinations of UPSC. So that is why a conceptual understanding of Wallace line would be important for our preparation. So this article was in today's The Hindu newspaper, and here they are saying that unique species are found around the Wallace line. So now one should know where is this located, what is the characteristics of those species, and this is relevant from environment and ecology, specifically ecology point of view. So what is Wallace line? So Wallace line, as we have also shown in the map, Wallace line is a faunal boundary line drawn by Alfred Russel Wallace, and it was named by the English botanist. So this information is not much important for the exam. Then it separates, so now here it separates biogeographical realms of Asia and Wallacea, a transitional zone. What is the other name of transitional zone? What we encounter in every small ecosystem, that is ecotone. In ecotone, we find that very high species diversity. So try to compare ecotone with the Wallace line. A transitional zone between Asia and Australia, formerly also called as the Malay Archipelago and Indo-Australian Archipelago. It is in present-day Indonesia. To the west of the line, there are Asiatic species. East, a mixture of Asian and Australian origin is present. The line runs through Indonesia, such as Makassar Strait between Borneo and Sulawesi, also known as the Celebes Island, and through the Lombok Strait between Bali and Lombok, where despite the small distance, there is contrast in species in each island. So each island has different species and very different species despite having very less distance between them. This is a unique location. The complex biogeography of the Indo-Australian archipelago is due to the location of merging point of 4 major plates. These are Indo-Australian plate, the Sunda plate, the Philippine Sea plate and the Caroline plate, and the other semi-isolated microplates in the combination with ancient sea levels. Wallace line is one of the many lines drawn by biologists, and this line determines the flora and fauna around the archipelago. What were the findings? So here there were unique mix of species from both Asia and Australia. Unlike other islands clearly divided by the Wallace line, Sulawesi contained animals of mixed origins. So what are examples of these? Tarsier. So this is tarsier here. Lowland anoa. So it is this one. Mountain anoa here, and dwarf cuscus. So these species are unique and they are mix of Australian and Asian species which are found in the Sulawesi island. Now one should locate the Sulawesi island. It is close to Borneo, also called as Celebes Island. Then the water bodies. What are the straits which separate these islands? I guess we have mentioned here Lombok Strait, which is between the Bali Island and the Lombok Island. Similarly, go and take a look at the other water bodies separating maybe the Borneo and Sulawesi, and try to find the locations and it is very high time that locations of these straits and islands can directly be asked in the examination. Now here there is a map of the tectonic plates. As we discussed, this region of Indonesia around the Wallace line is at the confluence of 4 tectonic plates, and these being this is the region which we are talking about. Let's highlight this region. So this is the region which we are talking about, and specifically along these lines. Here we see Indo-Australian plate, Philippine plate, Sunda plate, which is part of the Eurasian plate, and Caroline plate. So this region is a zone where 3 to 4 tectonic plates are converging. That is why we find unique species here. So if a question comes that is tectonic plates or movement of tectonic plates the reason for species diversity along the Wallace line, so then this statement becomes true. So what is Wallace dilemma? Again, finding on the Sulawesi island. So this is the syllabus or Sulawesi island mentioned in the orange color. So this location is important. Repeatedly redrew his biographical boundary due to Sulawesi's mixed fauna. In 1876, the Wallace noted island has affinities with Africa, India, Java, Maluka Islands, New Guinea and Philippines. And here now we have discussed what were the initial theories. Such as the initial theory suggested that some islands were once connected to the Asian mainland. As they broke off and drifted apart, species became isolated and evolved independently. What were the further findings? The Sulawesi's biodiversity is due to complex geological history. Parts of island originated from different tectonic plates. Yeah, this is what we discussed. Over millions of years, shifting land masses and sea levels enabled species migration from both Asia, Australia, and resulting in unique wildlife. Australia was separated from Antarctica. The emerging ocean cooled the planet by altering deep water currents. The northward drift of Australia and collision with Asia created volcanic islands of Indonesia. Monsoon variation, aridity, sea level changes forced species to adapt and diversify over millions of years. Now here we have a practice question based upon CAPF's previous year question. Try to answer this. This is a straightforward question. If anyone has gone through the session, will be able to easily attempt this. So let us know the answer in the comment box below. Moving on, this is the next article which was in today's The Hindu, the question corner specifically, and this is a term which is often seen in news, that is carbon intensity. So recently China said it has lowered its carbon intensity by 3.4% in 2024, missing its target of 3.9%. How is it relevant? It is relevant from economy plus environment and ecology, specifically the theme of climate action. We see certain times terms are asked in the examination like what is blue carbon, what is greenwashing. So along those lines, one can find that this article gives us some understanding of what is carbon intensity. What is carbon intensity of an economy? So let's start. Carbon intensity is a useful way to measure how much carbon a particular sector is emitting and how it has increased or decreased over time. Usually, sectors have their own way to measure their progress. The steel sector focuses on the number of tons produced annually. The medical insurance sector may focus on number of claims successfully fulfilled. HR services may focus on how many hours of unproductive work they may have done away with. The government of a country may also measure its own development by tracking, say, GDP per capita. In a world that is warming rapidly and desperately needs to reduce its greenhouse gas emissions, carbon intensity adjusts those existing metrics to include the amount of carbon dioxide produced. So in short, every metric or every sector has a certain metric so that its production is measured. And now what is being realized that in the context of climate change, every economic activity has certain carbon footprint. So now we are trying to measure that carbon footprint. So according to that footprint, we can measure the carbon intensity. So the metric used to measure a particular sector's contribution to climate change would be its carbon intensity. For example, carbon intensity of the steel sector can be measured by number of tons produced per ton of carbon dioxide emitted. Understood? Fine. An entire country's carbon intensity can be understood by dividing the growth of GDP per capita by amount of carbon dioxide emitted. So this would be the formula. And mind it, the statements in the UPSC prelims would be very close to decipher which is the correct one. So one should be thorough and absolute in the preparation of terms like carbon intensity. Just for the sake of homework, I am giving you another term. Do read about it and formulate a definition of it. That is radiative forcing. This is a term which has not been asked. It's a high time that any day this kind of terms can be asked. Fine, try to formulate a definition. Now here we have a very simple question based upon what we have discussed. What does the term carbon intensity refer to? Please do answer this. Now starting with the editorial discussion. The editorial was about law, order and artificial intelligence. So the article discusses that how artificial intelligence can be leveraged to improve the outcomes on law and order, and this particular editorial is relevant for us from GS2 governance. It can also be used in GS4 and they are also specific about governance. Then GS3, how science and technology is leveraged for better governance. These are the important relevant syllabus points where this editorial finds its resonance. Now the article mentions how government can invest in AI and improve the outcomes on law and order. So let's jump into the discussion. Now here we have mentioned a previous year question and it is about, we have to, first of all there are three parts. One, introduce the concept of AI. Then how can AI help in clinical diagnosis? This article is based on the theme of AI and healthcare. And what are the concerns regarding AI and healthcare? That is privacy, medical privacy to be specific. So try to answer this question and if possible do type it out and mention it in the comment box below. Now, how crime has evolved with artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence has made cyber crime more sophisticated and accessible to criminals with minimum technical skills. So with AI, one can easily code and create a virus which earlier was difficult and required a lot of skill set. But now even through rudimentary knowledge of artificial intelligence, one can create a very potent virus. One can create deep fakes. One can create videos which almost resemble speeches of any political leaders. So this can create misinformation and disinformation campaigns. So this is all the link between the crime and the artificial intelligence. So criminals can now adapt faster and evade traditional law enforcement methods. And now the generative AI is the technology which is enhancing the capability and the detrimental effect of crime. So here text can be generated, image or video creation is possible through generative AI, voice cloning is also possible. So all these things have made the digital domain of today, the digital web, more threatening. So the nature of crime has also changed with the advent of artificial intelligence. So this is what the editor tries to explain in the initial paragraphs, that the crime itself has changed due to advent of artificial intelligence, and how it has changed we have discussed that. So now moving to the next slide. Here we are discussing how AI can be used as a tool to control crime and improve governance. So AI for law and order enforcement. What can be done? First of all, challenges in India's criminal justice system. Unlike Western nations, India's criminal justice system provides less discretion to law enforcement and courts. Police in India are mandated to register all cases, while in the US minor cases can be ignored. This has led to the overburdened system with delays in justice. So what can be the AI based solutions for police? In case of investigation, the investigation can be made efficient and transparent. How? AI can help in register complaints, track investigation and assess the case progress. It can flag necessary steps and monitoring investigation quality. Then how can AI help in predictive policing? AI can analyze crime location data, offender routes and patrolling patterns, and optimize law enforcement strategies. Reducing supervisory burden. AI can process and analyze spreadsheets, images, and audio data, improving supervision at district headquarters. Then, better human resource management. AI can automate administrative tasks, allowing officers to focus on investigation, patrolling, and traffic management. So, these are the points which will help in the efficiency of the police. Then, how can AI be used for smart governance? What is smart? Smart means strategic, meticulous, adaptable, reliable, and transparent policing. This is the smart policing initiative. AI's contribution to the smart policing can be strategic. For example, AI can process and analyze vast amount of data. Then meticulous. AI ensures no evidence is overlooked in the investigation. Then adaptable. AI can adjust to new challenges in law enforcement. Reliable. AI eliminates human biases and human errors. Transparent. AI driven data tracking improves accountability. So one can use this flowchart as a value addition in answers. The next is how AI can help in the better functioning of the judiciary. So then coming to what are the challenges in Indian judiciary. Number one, backlog. Over 50 million cases are pending. Delayed justice undermines judicial legitimacy and rule of law. The traditional approach to this challenge has been increasing the number of judges and courts. Issues with this approach is financial and logistics constraints. Then how AI can solve the problem. AI provides solution in automating the case management. AI powered tool can transcribe court proceedings, reduce human workload. Document automation for storage access and sharing enhances efficiency. The document automation, for example, in the storage access and the sharing, this enhances efficiency of the judicial system. Document authentication and legal research. AI can detect contradictions, fraud, and anomalies in court documents. It can analyze legal precedents for bail and sentencing decisions. Judges can use AI for research and drafting judgments. So AI has a role in the case management, AI has role in the legal research, then supervision of lower courts. AI can track and assess the workload distribution across the courts. Now, there are certain policy recommendations in the article, which are there should be a task force. That this task force should study and recommend modalities of the use of AI in public service, especially judicial administration. Phased AI rollout. Implement AI at police station, district courts, and state level institutions. Comprehensive training programs. So these are the policy recommendations. That one, there should be a task force. 2, there should be a phased rollout of AI in the police stations. Number 3, there should be comprehensive training. Personnel should be trained in AI application for law enforcement and legal procedures. Then now the conclusion part. While global powers like US, China are battling out for AI supremacy, India in the meantime should use the technology astutely to successfully address administrative and public service problems. So this article in its entirety covers how artificial intelligence can be used and leveraged to increase outcomes on the law and order front, and how justice delivery system can be made more efficient, and what are the policy instruments which should be used, and how is the world changing, and what should be India's focus in case of artificial intelligence. So this is a very good article and one should use this for its own answer writing purposes. In the last, we have mentioned a practice question. Do try to answer this question and feel free to reach out to us or in case you have any feedback. And this is me signing off from today's session of Daily News Analysis. I hope that you must have liked this session. Please do like, share and subscribe. Thank you.